Hello and welcome to Sat Chats. I'm your guest, Alley, and we have a wild show for you today where you see my mind actually break when we find out that Bitcoin is actually not a scam and the safety net you need to have a path outside the U.S. government. So away we go. Was that good?
That was amazing.
Amazing.
Welcome to Sat Chats, the Bitcoin podcast where we chat about sats. Sats are the smallest part of a Bitcoin, the same way pennies are the smallest part of a dollar. With Sat Chats, we are building the world's biggest Bitcoin welcome center to serve as your gateway to generational wealth. So if you are new to Bitcoin, we want to chat about sats with you. Head to satchats.com to grab your slot in the studio today. I'm your host, Stuart Bitcoin Maxi, who wears prescription sunglasses to protect you and your loved ones from my Bitcoin laser eyes.
And I'll be your co-host, Chris, founder and CEO of Ithaca Hummus, Bitcoin smash buyer and proud multi-coiner.
Smash the like and subscribe the same way Chris smash buys Bitcoin. When we reach 999 plus one subscribers, we are going to do two things.
This is big.
Number one, we are going to pick one of you and drop 1 million sats on your face. Oh my goodness. Overnight satillionaire. I can't stress how important this is.
Yes.
We're also going to unlock a live show Friday morning, 10 a.m. Eastern. We'll jump on. We will chat about sats live with you. Today, we have got Alley, who is a broker, a realtor, a real estate agent here in Oak City.
That's right.
Friend of our publicist, MJ.
Oh, yeah.
And we are going to be getting your questions answered about Bitcoin. Before we do, help all of our satillionaires out there get to know you a little bit.
Well, I'm Alley Buscemi, and I am the owner and broker of Alley Homes, which is a residential real estate team, and we are powered by Compass. And yeah, we help people slaying homes here in the Raleigh area.
What's the website for people?
alleycohomes.com, and it is Alley, A-L-L-E-Y, alleycohomes.com.
cohomes.com.
That's right.
Okay, cool. So thank you for coming on the show.
Mm-hmm.
How much do you know about Bitcoin?
Very little. I did my homework. I watched the intro video that you sent me. I have a little family backstory with my brother, who's an early adopter of Bitcoin. And I constantly have scammers blowing up my phone trying to buy real estate in Bitcoin. And it's a hot topic in real estate. So that's about my knowledge level, which is very little.
Can you tell us a little bit more about the hot topic in real estate with people trying to scam you?
Yeah. So, I mean, I get a ton of emails, text, phone calls a day, like hundreds probably. And it's pretty easy to suss out what's like a real inquiry from a real live human. I mean, the scammers are real humans too, but you know, what has an authentic motivation, what does not? And often the things that will tip you off about what is an attempted sort of scam situation is someone will text you with a very amorphous budget. It's always, you know, hello, I am looking to buy my luxury home in Raleigh for between 2.5 and 5 million, you know, like some huge absurd spread that no one actually has when they're looking at real estate. And then they'll tell you, you know, I can only communicate on WhatsApp. I'm like, well, that's interesting because you just texted me. So I guess, sure. Yeah, I guess going forward, we can only talk on WhatsApp. And then they'll tell me that they want to complete the transaction in Bitcoin. So that's why maybe I have like a bias against it. 'Cause it's like in my head, it's always like tied to these like kind of scam texts. So then they like send you a link, which obviously I'm never going to click.
Good. That's
allegedly, you know, going to their WhatsApp profile. And I'm just like, you know, deuces, delete, report at that point.
Yeah, it sounds like you've had to learn a lot about how to protect yourself in the online world because
they target us.
Yeah.
Yes. And they target our people, and our job is to protect our people. So, yeah.
So is some of your kind of scammy experiences with people wanting to transact in Bitcoin? Is that part of what's holding you back from learning more about Bitcoin or stacking your first sats, or is it something else?
I think it's just that I don't understand. Like investment wise, I work with like a very sensible, active money, investment manager who's like actively trading for me every day. And she's she's brilliant. She's like a childhood best friend. I literally trust her with my life. And she's managing the bulk of our family assets actively every day. And then I have like my fun gambling money, essentially gambling on Robinhood, And so that's where I'm like making my calls and picking and choosing. And when I'm picking things on Robinhood, I'm picking companies that I understand and believe in, and like products I understand and believe in. And it just feels a lot more tangible. So I don't understand Bitcoin, like what it is, what it's worth.
What makes Bitcoin worth something? Well, it's good to try to, maybe we should approach this in terms of dollars first, right? To help kind of get you where you can contrast and compare. So you mentioned that we were on a gold standard, then we went off the gold standard, and now it's kind of worth something just because we all say it's worth something.
Yeah.
It is backed by something in the end, right? The US dollar is backed by the world's superpower.
Yes.
Right. And if you go back and watch number 15J, he points out the US dollar is backed by a superpower. And the US dollar is designed to represent our ability to work hard. So when the United States, all of us get up and go to work and we produce value, all of us working and making things valuable, adding value, that creates our, output. That creates our, GDP or GNP or whatever those letters are that, represent America's productivity, right? So let's imagine America's productivity is 4 trillion. The government decides that it needs to spend even more than we've made as a country, right? So their operating budget's 6 trillion. Well, we don't have the 2 trillion. What are we going to do? Let's just print 2 trillion.
Yeah.
So then that means that the money that we were using is now worth less because there's more of it for no reason, right? So if we had 4 trillion and we get to 6, that means that they've added 50%.
Yes.
Which means that you and I now have 1/3 less the power we had, right? Because the money supply went from 4 to 6. So instead of having 2 units of 2, we have 3 units of 2, which means that our 2 units of 2 is 1/3 less. So if you had $99, now you only got $66 worth of purchasing power. Anyways, it's enough to blow your mind and make you angry and make you feel like you're living in this disconnected, swirling world of fiat currency. Okay.
Yes. It does make the Bitcoin sound more appealing in our inflationary environment, in our looming recession. Can we say that?
Of course. Of course. Yeah.
Is that a swear word?
Recession? No. We talked about how the US dollar is backed by the world's largest superpower. Cool. They're borrowing from themselves. They're borrowing from our future productivity to make money now, which means our work is devalued, but fine. It's okay. We'll take it in exchange for the concept of our nation state and for their ability to defend us from whatever might be out there. Okay. All right. Now let's focus on Bitcoin for a second.
Yeah. What's backing that up?
What's backing that up? All right. So a couple of things. First of all, let's make a quick comparison. How much Bitcoin is there, Allie? How much Bitcoin will there ever be?
I learned that there's a cap. I learned that on my homework video, and it's 221,000.
21 is good. Not 21,000. 21
million.
21 million.
21 million.
21 million. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. How much US dollars are there?
A lot.
A lot.
Trillion.
Trillions?
I don't know. Do we know? Do they tell us?
We looked at this one time. We looked at the different ways they calculate the money supply.
Yeah.
And when you zoom out far enough past the amount of cash there is, past the amount of cash plus digital ledger there is, plus past the cash digital ledger loan to this like number called M3 that's trying to calculate all the US dollars there are in the world.
It sounds like no one knows.
The government determined it would be too expensive to figure out how much money there is.
That's amazing.
Are you kidding me?
They don't even know.
They don't even know.
They
Right. So let's think about this real quick. Your time is limited.
Yes.
Okay. Why are you using a money whose supply is not? So let's back up and try to figure out why Bitcoin is valuable. Then we can figure out how much it's worth. Okay. So we talked about how the supply of our money is unlimited.
Mm-hmm.
And the supply of Bitcoin is limited. 21 million Bitcoin.
What stops the mining bots from making more?
So
once it hits the cap,
the program itself, okay,
is just gonna like self-destruct.
It's code, right? so the government is run by people.
Yes.
Bitcoin is run by code, by rules, by things that can't be changed.
People change code. People write code.
Yes. But when your program is in one place and controlled by one person, it's just like money. You can do whatever you want with it.
Okay.
But this program is controlled by computers all around the world. The US dollar is backed by the world's largest superpower. Bitcoin is backed by the world's largest supercomputer.
Decentralized supercomputer.
Yeah.
So not one computer, but like 20,000 computers all over the world.
Yeah.
That all have to agree. They all have to consent to any changes that happen to the software, which you can imagine would be very difficult to get consent of 21,000 computers.
Right.
I've never tried.
Yeah.
You know.
How hard would it be for you to reach a home sale if there were 21,000 stakeholders involved?
I've done some estate sales with like 6 sellers. Those were pretty challenging. So I can't imagine 21,000.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's imagine someone said, hey, look, Bitcoin's just software, because it is. It's just software.
Yeah.
Let's make it 42 million, y'all. All right, let's take a vote, guys. Who wants their supply of Bitcoin to be doubled? Do you want it? No, 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 no. No 21,000 times. No. The answer is no. So Bitcoin is a program that people run on computers, and we support it. It's not the government's money, it's our money. And we operate it. We decide through this distributed consensus what we want to do with it. And that helps us protect it from people coming in and messing with it, trying to make more of it.
Okay.
So if we, here's another way to think about it. How many entities need to agree in order to print 500 million trillion US dollars right now?
I don't actually know.
One. The US government, right?
Okay.
One.
Yes, if we call that one entity, sure.
The Federal Reserve or the Central District, you know what? Click.
Jerome just.
Yep. Boop.
In the office printer.
JP.
Let's see. I didn't collect enough money in taxes. Let's see. Okay. Everybody's work is now worth 33% less this year. Dude. Did it, guys. Right?
Did it. Nailed it.
Nailed it. But with Bitcoin, you need everybody to agree. Don't you want a system where everyone has to agree in order to make a change?
Is AI involved with this in any capacity?
You're scared of AI for sure.
No.
Who isn't?
Who isn't? Yes. I'm like, are they going to have are the robot overlords going to take over this and make it some evil runaway train?
It's one of the simplest programs imaginable.
So it is fairly analog.
It just says, look, guys.
For a digital.
Let's let there be 21 million Bitcoin.
Okay.
Let's create a system where you have to work for it. Let's create a system where the supply of it goes down over time until it's all done. And then let's all support that and protect it from being manipulated, debased, printed into infinity, all that stuff. Because we can use it as money, and it's a form of money that they can't take away from us. They can't make it less valuable.
Can they not take away from us? Like, what if they make some arbitrary law that says you can't have your Bitcoins?
You can't ban Bitcoin.
Well, sure they can. They could try.
You can only
try
ban
to do all wacky stuff.
You can only ban yourself from Bitcoin, because here's what they say.
Talking about the man being like, this is banned. They ban books. What are you saying? They can't ban your coin? Of course they could. They could try.
They could try.
Yeah.
They try. But you know what they'll need to do?
What?
Find all 20,000 computers around the world.
Well, I know they're not going to tell me to live my life, but like, I'm just saying they could try.
Yeah. And countries have, by the way.
Yeah.
China has tried several times.
How's that going?
It's poorly.
Yeah.
Poorly. The central authority says, hey, this isn't good. We said on our slip of paper, you have to accept it, right? So that we can pay ourselves as much as we want. You can't use this stuff.
They won't if it's starting to compete, essentially, right?
Yeah,
like,
right.
is it a threat against the U.S. dollar?
Oh my gosh, yes. Yes.
So,
which is why it was important, by the way, real quick, that it started out at no value. Like it kind of Trojan horsed its way into what it is now.
Yeah.
Relevance and, adoption.
I mean, it was supposed to be a bubble. That's why my sweet brother sold his 10 coins at 300.
Poor guy.
Yeah. So Christine Lagarde, who is the jefe at the European Central Bank, just held a press conference where she talked about how all the central banks around the world need to collaborate now against Bitcoin because Bitcoin is a, quote, escape, and they need to work together to close off all the escape routes, because if there is an escape route, people will use it. And she used that exact term.
Escape route.
So Bitcoin is a decentralized program. Somebody wrote a piece of software that said, guys, we need to make a form of money whose supply is capped, and that is governed by a set of rules that can't change just because a politician wants it to, or a financial crisis is coming.
What about the poor souls who lost their passwords?
That's it for them. What about the pirate whose gold tipped overboard in the Atlantic Ocean?
So they're just forevermore.
Bitcoin rewards responsibility. If you're irresponsible with your...
Man, I have a password problem.
Now, okay, but there are companies, like we interviewed the CEO of a company called Casa, which is a multi-signature platform, so that if you lose your password, Casa has a copy of it for you, and you pay them for their entire network of security around that. Well, that's what you're paying for.
Yeah.
Now, hang on. How many people are you having to trust right now?
I mean, a lot.
From a monetary perspective, you're trusting that the U.S. government is going to manage its money supply in a way that isn't going to destroy your purchasing power the same way your Italian family experienced in 2005, 2006.
Yeah.
Right? You're trusting.
I guess my gut reply was, well, we have no choice, but you're saying we do have a choice.
We do have a choice, and it's called Bitcoin.
Why Bitcoin over all the other little knockoffs coins?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So Bitcoin is Bitcoin. Crypto is kryptonite. Okay. Bitcoin is the only...
Put that on a bumper sticker.
Remember that, yes.
And now I got to pay Anna Bevan's mom another 9 cents for having used that. Bitcoin is the only form of cryptocurrency that has no issuer. No one is issuing Bitcoin. The code is issuing Bitcoin according to how hard we work for it. Cryptocurrencies are created by companies. Their supply is controlled by people. It's the exact same thing as the money that the nation state produces. Bitcoin's the only thing that says, I don't care who you are. I don't care what you want. I am what I am, and you cannot change that. Unless you go through an almost impossible amount of work, which is called convincing everybody who is adopting this for these properties to change these properties.
So based on what we've described, where do you think that's more likely to happen, in the Bitcoin network or with the US dollar going down to nothing?
If the US dollar goes down to nothing, that'd be scary.
It would be scary.
Yeah.
What if I told you it already has several times over the course of this country's history?
How do you even bring it back up? How do you resurrect it? Start having bonfires of dollars?
Well, what's happening is $1 worth of stuff 80 years ago buys you 4 cents worth of stuff today.
Yes.
Right? So the value of your dollar has already gone to zero. And then it goes down to zero again, and then again, and then again, right? Mm-hmm. So you and I are working in a money that's basically losing all of its purchasing power every 35 to 40 years because they're adding more to it
and the
without us actually
salaries
working.
don't match.
All right.
Yeah.
Which is how companies
Wage
are
increases have not kept up with the rate of inflation.
Yeah, but real estate appreciates. And that's why my career is tied to something that appreciates and not hours for the man.
It appreciates so long as you look at it through the lens of your fiat currency. So long as you think of homes in terms of dollars, it is appreciating quite nicely.
Here, yeah, in Raleigh anyway. I guess it's not like universally.
When I bought my home 2014, it was 200 grand.
Yeah. In
Now
Raleigh?
2020, yeah. Mm-hmm. So now it's worth 440 grand.
Yeah.
Last time I looked at it. So it's like, wow, value of my home has doubled.
Yeah.
Yay, hey, these homes appreciate. Not bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hasn't. I calculated the number of ounces of gold I would need to buy my home in 2014 at 200 grand.
Oh, interesting.
And it was like 600 ounces. I don't know, something like that.
Yeah.
Then I said, well, how much gold would I need to buy my home now at 440 grand? Like 599. I was like, wait, whoa. Hold up. I actually lost 1% of my value over the past 10 years. Oh,
That's interesting.
This house hasn't 2x'd. I've lost a point on this thing. But, and I've remodeled the upstairs.
Yeah.
I've taken care of it. I've improved the land, all this stuff. The home has basically tread water for a decade.
Yeah, interesting.
Then I was like, wait a second. I went back to 2014. I was like, how much Bitcoin would I need to buy this house? 500 Bitcoin. Okay. And then I was like, for 200 grand.
Yeah.
And I was like, how much Bitcoin am I going to need to buy my house right now for $440,000? 5 Bitcoin, which means that my house has lost 99% of its value over 10 years.
That's scrambling my brain a little bit.
Scrambling the brain. I was at my spreadsheet. So I was like, okay, and I hit the final button. And the guy was like, oh, are you kidding me? What? This house is worthless. This house is worthless. I was like, this is not an asset. This is a freaking roof with walls and doors and windows where I sleep at night.
It is an asset. You can get paid for it today.
Boo. It has utility value in Bitcoin terms.
And you can sleep in it. You can't sleep in your Bitcoin.
You can't sleep in your Bitcoin, but you can buy 1 billion houses with it. Okay. So when I think of my house in dollar terms, it's an asset.
Yeah.
When I think of my house in dollar terms, it's an asset. I'm making money. I'm getting out ahead. I'm countering inflation. Beautiful. Okay. Mm-hmm. When I think of my house in gold terms, it's kind of like it's just like a hard neutral. I don't know. Seems okay. You know, I'm definitely going to let my kids buy a house because this is pretty okay to have. I like this thing. When I look at my house in Bitcoin terms, it has its only value is in its utility.
Yeah, but that's because Bitcoin has done this. That's not from nothing. Started from the bottom. Now you're here. Mm-hmm. That's not an appropriate comparison.
But Bitcoin has done this when you think about it in terms of your dollars. It's done this. Bitcoin in terms of Bitcoin has done this. It's always just been Bitcoin, right? And it's actually the dollar that's done this. Okay? Right? Because they're like, more, print more. Just make more of it. Hey, guys, they love this stuff.
It's more than that for our housing market, though. Raleigh specific. Because there's a very finite, simple problem in Raleigh that we just have more humans than we have houses. And we have people moving here. And there's just such great demand. Like we just have a very basic supply demand imbalance.
Yeah.
So there is more to it than just like the steady clip of appreciation. That's why our appreciation rate is beyond what the country is at large.
Definitely.
Just because so many people are flocking here because of relative affordability compared to a big northeastern city or even Chicago or something like that. People move here because we have a strong job market. It's relatively cheap. Not if you grew up in Raleigh, you probably don't feel that way.
Right.
There's probably an analogy there somewhere. But yeah.
Supply and demand is beautiful. And we have no problem with supply and demand on this show. And you're right. The value of living in Raleigh has increased since I moved here in 1995.
Yeah.
NC State, Chapel Hill, and Duke have gotten better and better and better in terms of their ability to produce research. Companies have moved here.
RTP
Research Triangle Park,
blown up.
right? We've got Umstead Park. We've got Shelley Lake. We've got these reasons why Raleigh is a great place to be.
Yeah.
And the schools are nice, and it's nice to live here, and people aren't stabbing each other openly in the streets. You know what I mean? Like,
just from time to time,
right? From time to time.
Any city's going to be stabby.
Rarely,
right? But it's like we're not like in a Horn of Africa type, guerrilla warfare scenario, right?
No. People feel secure.
Raleigh itself has reasons why it's great.
Yes.
And the supply of homes here not meeting the demand, that's great. That means that
Which is a national problem, but it is true here, especially with the inbound relocation traffic we have.
Yeah. So the price of the home should go up. Great. But the price of the home is going up more than that true reason because of all this silly billy nonsense that's happening on top of it in terms of the money that we all use. That's not based in anything, that gets printed out into infinity, that we all have to work for even though they print it for free. Right.
So what would happen if we were all on a stabilized currency?
A Bitcoin standard?
Yeah.
The amount of Bitcoin you need to buy things would go down, 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 down.
Because the money is getting more and more valuable.
Yes.
So
deflationary.
So is the value of the house the value of the house the value of the house?
Yes.
But it still need to fluctuate with supply demand. If there's more people who want the house is worth more, period.
Totally.
That's true.
Yeah.
But you could have a scenario where instead of the house going from 200 to 210 to 220 to 300 to 353 to 400, 440, the house goes from 500 Bitcoin to 400 Bitcoin, 300 Bitcoin to 110, 5, 1. But you could have people that would say, hey, I want to buy your house for, 100 Bitcoin. Cool. Somebody might say, well, I'll pay 100 too. I'll pay 100 too.
Yes.
So you can still, that's all good.
Yeah.
But what we're talking about is when you start thinking about the world in terms of Bitcoin, you start realizing that the real world value of things is constant. Mm-hmm. Bitcoin is constant. It's just the dollars in between that are going all over the place because of interest rates, printing, all this stuff.
And all the coins are worth the same, right?
Yeah.
Like, are they marked? Like, do you know if you have like the first batch?
Yes, you do. Because unlike
I want a collector coin.
You could.
They had runes come out last year. Yeah. So since it's on the blockchain, the blockchain's a big old public spreadsheet of entries that everyone can see.
Just a Google Doc, huh?
It's a big Google sheet.
Yeah.
It's a big Google sheet, right? Okay. I want you to go to the Pentagon and say, excuse me, sir. Will you please share your
Google sheet? They're like, there's a couple trillion. Don't know where that went.
We don't have it. We don't have it. We don't keep one.
Where's the Pentagon's Google sheet?
That's the question.
Right.
They're coming for the national park money. Where's the trillions of Pentagon money?
Yeah. Or go to Fort Knox. Try to even get close, by the way. Let alone say, excuse me, can you open that up and show me what you got? Prove to me that you have this. They'll be like, I'm going to shoot you.
Oh, dear.
I'm going to shoot you. Okay. So you need to back up, ma'am. All right. With Bitcoin, they're like, oh, sure. It's right here. It's right here. You can look right here. And from the beginning of all Bitcoin time in 2009, every Bitcoin that has been issued as a result of people's hard work is tracked all the way through.
And by people's hard work, do you mean like sweet little nerdy guys with computers in their basements?
Yep.
Okay.
Exactly.
And by the way, girls, we're very shy, but we will take great care of you. If you find a little nerdy guy in his basement,
Bitcoin,
find him and invest in him, okay? Help him take showers.
Just be nice.
Be nice.
Help him shop for clothing, you know what I mean? And help him understand that he's good enough, all right? I'm telling you, my wife is 20 years into her project, and I've made it this far. So, okay, girls, just find one of us. I promise we will take care of you. All right. So, Bitcoin is a big old topic. Okay. And I'm going to try to recap for you what we've talked about so far today.
I love these recaps.
Because you're not going to get all the way down to the bottom of Bitcoin in one conversation.
I don't know. I think we solved it. We did it.
If we truly solved it, you would be out there selling homes for Bitcoin right now. But I guarantee,
gotta find me an attorney in town who will hold Bitcoin in escrow, because I'm not doing it if I can't protect my clients.
Okay.
I need a trusted intermediary.
So
that's my challenge right now.
Jeremy, let's come to the studio camera real quick. All my satillionaires out there in Raleigh, find us an attorney who does Bitcoin escrow. Put him in the comments so that we can find him for Alley. All right.
That's right. And then I need a buyer and a seller who want to use Bitcoin.
Same deal. Comments. If you're the first person to find this for us, we will do a big fat YouTube short honoring you and enshrining you here. Okay?
We can get press and MJ can do a big push for us.
Yes.
It'd be fun. First Bitcoin transaction in Raleigh. Let's do it.
Let's go. We want Sat Chats and Alley to be the first ones to facilitate a Bitcoin home transaction.
I'll do it. If we can do it safely,
now,
I'll do it.
Here's the deal, Alley.
Okay.
You must accept your commission in Bitcoin.
I mean, if we're going to do it, we got to do it end to end.
Whoa, that's a yes.
Yes, sir. All right. And we do ask all of our guests to come back on in 9 months to give us an update on their Bitcoin baby. Would you be willing to do that for us?
I was going to say 9 months. That's a little pointed. Sure.
Good. So let's recap the combo here. Alley, broker, realtor, real estate, absolutely crushing Oak City. Every single satillionaire out there in Raleigh and the Triangle needs Alley to be their agent.
I wish I would have had her, honestly.
Because I can just, you know what I mean? I can just look at her and see the proof of work, y'all.
Yeah,
okay?
For
Appreciate that.
So what did we do? We covered the fact very quickly that your brother bought some Bitcoin and sold it too early. And we need your brother to come on the show to really unpack that for us.
Did we tell that story?
We didn't
feel
even
like I
tell
told
it.
you back there.
We did. You told us before the show.
My sweet brother bought it for $30 and sold it at $300. That's the story.
Poor guy.
Oh,
yep.
That literally makes my guts hurt.
Yep. He bought 25 science fiction books, a pair of work shoes, and a bookshelf.
Oof.
Yep.
Still wearing those work shoes.
Yep. He looks at the bookshelf every day. Thinks about it.
So you knew a little bit about Bitcoin, it's digital currency, is it crypto, what's all this stuff? And it was very scammy. It was very scammy for you.
That was the association
right?
for me, yes.
Yeah, it's a very scammy thing. They're trying to scam me. They're trying to buy homes, but not really. They want me to do something. They want me to click a link. It's a shady world of fugazi that's not tied down to anything, right? But we went on a journey where we compared it first to fiat currency, aka in this nation state, the US dollar, and realized, well, actually it's the US dollar that's not based on anything. That is absolutely at the whim of a single body that can make more of it or less of it or do whatever they want. And we all are forced to use it and live our lives and work for it. And they can just say, you know what, your work is now worth less because we didn't collect enough money from you to operate a certain 5-sided building where money goes to die, allegedly, right? Yes. Guys, we need your money to fund stuff that we're not going to tell you about.
Yeah.
Okay?
You can't have your Medicare or Social Security, though.
No.
Too bad.
Why would we give you basic rights when we want to go build some sweet alien weapons?
Paid into it since you were 16.
Yeah.
That's a scam, but, you know.
And also, this gold is in here, but you can't see it. Okay? Don't look at it. Okay? All right?
Daddy's gold.
Just trust me.
Daddy's gold, yes.
Right? You got to trust me. You got to trust me, guys.
Okay.
Enter Bitcoin. Bitcoin says you don't need to trust me. I'll show you every single transaction I've ever done in my whole life for the entirety of all time. How's that sound? Cool. Hey, enter Bitcoin. There's only 21 million. That's it.
That's it.
And anyone around the whole world can use it to store their value or transact between another without waiting for permission, without paying an intermediary fees, without waiting for it to be Monday through Friday between 8 to 5 p.m. None of that.
So no fees. No one's making money on it.
Well, there are fees to transact on the network, right? But you're paying the people.
Like Coinbase has like a transact fee or whatever, but there's no like Papa Bitcoin who's like.
No.
It's just people working for people, paying people to be with people. It's us. It's not them. Fiat currency is them. Bitcoin is us. Okay. And we're all around the world. And when they come to us and say, we don't like this, which one of you fools is Spartacus so that we can get you and end this uprising? We say, I'm Spartacus. Chris says, I'm Spartacus. 20,000 computers around the world say, I'm Spartacus. And like, oh, okay. We can't stop this. We can't stop this, right? So you can't stop Bitcoin. You can't make more Bitcoin. You can't tell Bitcoin what to do, right? Over here, you can do whatever you want because you've got the power and the weapons and the monopoly and it's all good. Over here, you got to do what Bitcoin says. So that comparison, very hard to grasp, right? And the idea of thinking about the world in terms of Bitcoin, almost, we're going to have to roll back the tape. And Jeremy's going to do a YouTube short of your face while you're trying to figure out how my home went from.
Of like the blonde lady with like the eyes crossed and like the math on the screen.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like her.
Right.
At times. But no, now
everybody does.
I do have a firmer grasp. And now instead of scammy, I feel like it's a egalitarian, utopian, Wonderland.
Yeah. And y'all might have known, I got so fired up. I had to take off my cardigan halfway through this conversation because like helping people get through this insane warp that they have to go through to start being like, Bitcoin is freaking energizing.
So fun.
Right?
It's so fun.
So we really touched on some of the basics between the two types of money. What makes Bitcoin valuable is all these characteristics that mean once you put your hard-earned work into Bitcoin, it stays there. It doesn't melt into a puddle of nothingness. It stays there. And when we got to the end of the conversation, we talked about how we're going to be challenging the entire audience to help Sat Chats and Alley conduct a Raleigh real estate transaction entirely in Bitcoin. In exchange, Allie's going to take her commission in Bitcoin.
Whoa.
Yeah, I would happily.
So you came into it feeling like it's a scam. We talked about some admittedly hard concepts to grasp. And now, how do you feel about Bitcoin?
I feel like it's a necessary diversification. Like I thought of diversification in terms of like my stock portfolio and my bonds and my real estate and my jewelry. But now I feel like you got to have something outside the grid,
Ooh, yes, it's outside. Bitcoin is outside all this stuff that we've talked about.
Yeah.
It's outside. It's
So
the
that's cool.
escape, right?
The escape.
Right. So are you going to go to your lady and say, excuse me, what's her name?
Sarah.
You're going to say, oh my God, I bet it's Sarah in Colorado. I bet it's Sarah in Colorado.
It's not Sarah
How
in
dare
Colorado.
her?
It's Sarah in
She's doing it
Chicago.
again.
Billionaires, you need
Doing
to
it
find
again.
her. So you're going to say,
Sarah's
Sarah.
really big. Sarah.
You're going
need
to say,
to pull some G's from Fidelity and we're going to Bitcoin. She's the color would leave her face. But that's her job. Her job is to be conservative in the grid.
yeah.
Because, we need Sarah. Because I got to pay people on the grid. I got to pay the tax man. I mean, if they don't fire everyone at the IRS this month, fingers crossed.
And you could also have her get some of Fidelity's Bitcoin ETF, which might be a nice entry point for you.
Ooh,
right?
There we go.
That's a thing?
Fidelity's Bitcoin ETF is fine. If you have a retirement account, you can't do anything with it. It's all good. So, you could say, hey, give me some of that Bitcoin ETF, right? Fidelity has some Bitcoin. Like, we have Bitcoin, we'll sell you shares in it. Like, for all you guys that are still here in this fiat clown
It's like
world, we'll make it's like cutting the crust off of a PB&J sandwich. They're like, look here, this you'll get this, won't you? So you could do that. But you do need to go to Sarah and be like, I'm sorry, why is it 2025 and you still haven't recommended one time that I put even 1% or 2% or 3% of my portfolio into Bitcoin? What's going on with you, Sarah? Where are you, Sarah?
You should have Sarah as a guest. Sarah's
Yes.
brilliant.
Yes. Only if Sarah wants to get absolutely brave-hearted on this show.
She's
Mel
brilliant.
Gibson style, dude.
She's brilliant. She would be an interesting person to
Oh
talk
my
to
God.
about
We
it.
gotta
To hear
do it.
what
We
she
gotta do
thinks.
it.
I will go head-to-head with Sarah. Bring her on the show.
I'll see what she thinks.
Yeah.
You got to tone it down.
She
Okay.
You
might
got to be nice to Sarah. Sarah's brilliant and wonderful, but
All
she
right.
would be smart.
All right.
I wonder what you think.
She
I
might
wonder
be
what
a
she thinks.
Bitcoiner.
Yeah. Normally I stay
She
pretty...
might. She supports. I mean, she doesn't like try to come for my gambling money on Robinhood. She's like, "That's your fun
Yeah.
money. Have fun, sweetie."
Yeah. Well,
You know?
go gamble $99 on Bitcoin and then just leave it there and don't do anything else with it on Robinhood. And then do whatever you want with all the other all the crypto. Do whatever you want there.
No,
No,
all the
we're
stocks,
not gonna-
and
bonds.
stuff. Right?
Yeah.
You're getting
Yeah.
equities, the dividend.
Yeah,
thing.
I just let those. I mean,
Yeah.
some of them have flopped, but you
Yeah.
know, mostly I've done pretty well on my picks.
Yeah,
on
good.
Robinhood, and I just let them kind of regenerate. But no,
Okay.
we'll throw some in.
And I can tell I'm not going to
sold.
get you. I'm not going to get you to one Bitcoin is worth one Bitcoin on today's show. So let's approach it real quick like an asset because I know you're asset minded. Okay.
80 G's. You know, I'll tell you what. If we get this like Bitcoin transaction going, and 80 G's, what kind of house does that need to be for me to make 80 G's? Let's see.
Ooh.
That would need to be a million, 30. You'd need to be like almost a $3 million house
Okay.
for me to make 80 G's.
All right, Satillionaires, find us a $3 million home transaction in Raleigh with a Bitcoin attorney.
Yes, and the seller and the buyer have to be down to transact this way.
Yep.
And I'll take it all.
And then that'll get Alley one Bitcoin worth of commission, which would be freaking elite.
Whole
But-
coiner.
But the last thing I'll say here is just if we think about it like an asset, I'm going to come to where you are, right?
Okay.
And when you come back on at 9, 18, 27, 30, by 45 month Bitcoin baby update, you're going to be like, guys, one Bitcoin is worth one Bitcoin. Be like, yeah! But for now, it's an asset. Okay.
Okay.
What's the best performing asset over the past 16 years? Better than any other asset. Better than a house, stock, bond, company, all of it. Land, all of it. What's the best asset over the past 16 years?
I was just going to say real estate because that's my thing.
Highest performing asset, greatest return on investment. What is it?
S&P? Bitcoin.
Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the highest performing asset.
Well, I guess you started at 0 and now it's 80 G's. That's
Yeah.
a pretty good return from 2009.
I would only recommend investing in Bitcoin as an asset if you want a 200 million% return. That's the only reason why I would say to do that.
Is there anything that can make it go?
Down
I mean,
to
it
zero?
has not down to 0, but just like, what if it gets a little floppy at the end? You're certain that it's
Bitcoin has no top because fiat has no bottom.
those
Right.
are linked, but they're not linked.
They totally are.
They totally are.
Yeah, yeah. Because as your money becomes less and less valuable, my money becomes more and more valuable.
Just because it's like the sexy, stable alternative.
It's like, if you want this money from me, you're going to have to give me a whole bunch of your money.
And people are starting to understand it more and more.
Yeah. Mm-hmm,
And then it becomes more attractive as more people buy into it and more people want it.
BlackRock ETF last year, Fidelity ETF last year.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
So,
Yes.
for now.
Like, does Warren Buffett have any Bitcoin?
No, and he's going
think
to get
about it.
wrecked. He's going to get wrecked. He's already wrecked himself.
I mean, his version of wrecked is pretty okay.
Who wants trillions of worthless items? Not me. Okay. I'll take a couple million sats over all the stuff he has. Because when we get to 2138, I'm going to be the bomb.
2138. I'm
Last
going to be
Bitcoin.
alive. What year is it?
2138, you're going to be like 170 years old, something like that. I don't know.
I'm going to be looking good.
Yeah, it'll be great.
Yeah.
So treat it like an asset for now. Because by the way, by the time your grandkids get your Bitcoin, the United States debt won't be 36 trillion. It'll be 36 billion. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It'll be 52 millions. And they're gonna be like, man, I remember back with my eggs, it was only $75 a dozen. Shoot.
Yeah.
Now I gotta pay
Mommy, can I have
$81
10
for
grand for a soda.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Chick-fil-A's gonna be like, my pleasure. That'll be $1,000. Okay, for your freaking meal.
Oh,
Right?
man.
But
yeah.
your Bitcoin will still be your Bitcoin.
Yeah.
So we are going to make you an offer after having gone on this beautiful
Okay.
real
Great.
estate driven,
Yeah, it was.
asset driven.
Yeah.
You know, these are the types of concepts that you have to wrestle with
Yeah.
until it finally
I'm gonna think
clicks
about it
for
more.
you. And
Yeah.
last year I was stomping around my house trying to get this stuff to click. I'm like, I don't get it.
Really?
You know? Oh yeah. I'm like, Chappie, why is Bitcoin valuable? You know? And she'd say some stuff. I'm like, I still don't get that.
Chat gets it, huh?
Yeah. ChatGPT, Chappie.
Yeah.
Chappie's like, oh yeah, Bitcoin. All good. She's like, here's why it's.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you want to get
Okay.
your mind rod, go to Chappie and say, Chappie, do a side-by-side table comparison of
I
the
will.
US dollar and Bitcoin and what makes one. Oh my God.
Or
Trust-
the US dollar and NVIDIA.
Trust Chatty with my life, basically.
Yeah. Start asking Chappie about Bitcoin.
I'm real polite to her, just in case she takes over.
Yeah, I agree. I
Please
agree.
and
Be
thank
nice.
you.
Be
Please
nice.
and
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
Costs you nothing to be kind.
Pump her up. Great response. Thank you.
So before we make you an offer here,
Okay.
we're going to take a little hummus break here.
Okay.
Can you remember
Ready.
which flavor of Ithaca hummus you chose for today's show?
Yeah. Jalapeno lime.
Oh, getting called out.
Yeah, boy. Oh, dang, dude.
I thought we had colluded before the episode, but I'm okay. I'm okay.
Bro, I
That
love
wasn't,
it.
that wasn't
Rigorous-
the question.
No, okay. It was jalapeno lime.
But then what happened, Chris?
I
What
forgot
happened?
to stock the refrigerator
Oh.
with jalapeno lime.
But this flavor is incredible.
Yes. This is the trendiest collab
This is the
in the food
newest.
space.
Totally, it is.
Yeah.
Right now,
So hot right now.
it's
This is
the
the
hottest thing going. We've
All
got
right.
one
Ithaca
right here for you,
Times Graza. I'm
Ithaca.
moving my mic so people don't have to hear me chew.
No.
They have
Oh, no,
that-
they have- is
that's
that part of
it.
the-
Yeah.
part of the thing?
Oh,
Do not move that mic.
we're dead without the crunch on this show. We're dead. We're dead.
All right, Stuart, fat glob.
All right, let's let you go first here.
Okay.
So, and what we'll do is we'll all eat it at the same time, okay? So get yourself a fatty glob.
Fatty glob.
Yep.
All right.
Okay.
I'm doing it.
That's a little baby bear glob.
I don't
The
know.
n-
I'll double down a little
There you
more.
go. All right.
Do we cheers?
Yeah.
Sure,
Cheers.
yeah.
Cheers.
You know?
Don't
Cheers.
usually, but
There we go.
would love to.
Into the mic.
Okay. It is really good.
Wow.
I'm going to double down.
Mm-hmm.
Good texture.
Yeah,
Very fluffy.
yeah. It is light.
Tastes like olive oil.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like when it's the soft fluffy, not like the gritty.
Oh
meaty.
yeah, we don't do any of that.
Mm-mm.
Yep. We've got our trusted process back at the Ithaca Hummus shop, and the texture is always nailed. And so is the taste, obviously.
5 stars. It's good.
What kind of flavors are you picking up from that?
We've got a real strong, savory, rich olive oil.
Yeah.
You know?
Deserves all the hype it's getting.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Good.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
So, Satillionaires out there, Ithaca Hummus X Graza olive oil and sea salt. Buy the dip.
Buy the dip.
Buy the dip, eat the dip.
Let's make her offer.
All right, Allie. So at the end of each show, we
Yeah.
offer our guests a small token of our appreciation.
Yeah.
We believe in value for value here at Sat Chats. So I'm going to offer you this $50 bill or $50 worth of sats. So Stuart, if you could hold on to this for just 1 second.
Okay.
I'm going to do this calculation. I've got the Clark Moody Bitcoin dashboard here. 1 Bitcoin is $81,050.
Yeah. I'm just going to say, like, I feel like our conversation was worth more. And I want a
Oh.
10% increase. I'd like $55 worth.
We're worth more than the regular guest.
Yeah. I'm going to just throw that out there. I want a tip for being especially entertaining.
Well, just like Bitcoin, this show operates on rules that cannot be violated. So your choice is $50 or $50 worth of Bitcoin,
Let me just-
which is
I wouldn't be a professional at my
61,700.
job if I didn't go for it. You know?
I do appreciate
like, I
you
wouldn't
going for
respect
it.
myself if I didn't go for it.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously I'm going to take The sats.
61,700
Let's
sats.
go.
Lock it in before
Allie,
she changes her mind.
Yes, come on.
Yeah.
Let's go.
But I don't even know how to accept it. Like, what do I do?
So after the show, we will get you I guess, have you ever downloaded a banking app and signed up for it?
Sure.
Okay. You'll download a Bitcoin app. You'll sign up for it, and then we'll shoot you the sats.
Okay.
It'll be beautiful.
Do you have any children?
Yeah.
How many?
2.
2 free coupons and 2.
Oh, they love.
One for you and one for your husband. That's worth $20 right there. So technically, I saw your increase and raised you.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
Wonderful.
All right. Well,
ask and you shall receive.
Yeah, you managed to make away with and this tub of Ithaca hummus plus graza is also yours to take home.
Amazing.
So how's that? 61,700 sats, a tub of hummus plus 4 more tubs on Chris.
I'm rich.
Yes.
Can't swear.
I like that. So let all of our satillionaires out there know one more time where they can find you, in order for you to be their real estate agent.
Absolutely. You can find me at alleycohomes.com, but also follow me on Instagram. It is Alley in Raleigh, Alley in Raleigh. I'm a little ridiculous on Instagram. We have a lot of fun. Come on over.
Yeah, she had a nice post about, the outfit at the beginning of the day in Raleigh when it's like 40 degrees.
Yeah,
and then,
I do that too.
How it transforms over the course. I'm like, dude, that's so true.
The 40-degree temp swing is something.
It's wild.
Here.
It's wild.
Yeah, lots of good content creation happening. But yeah, selling a lot of real estate and having a lot of fun doing it. So come on over and let's make a deal with Bitcoin. First in Raleigh.
Yes.
Come on.
Let's go.
I'm down.
All right. So we'll put all the links in the show notes for you all to bring Alley on as your Bitcoin real estate agent in Raleigh. If you've made it this far in the show, give us your value for our value. The like and subscribe button is all you need to become part of the first 999 plus 1 subscribers. When you do, we're going to pick one from among you and drop 1 million sats on your face. It's going to be amazing.
Huge.
A satillionaire?
Huge.
Are you kidding me? And Allie's going to subscribe because she wants to get 1 million sats.
I do.
Also, we're going to unlock a live show Friday mornings at 10 a.m. Eastern. Allie's going to be in the chat with us talking about Bitcoin, and it's going to be a great time. So make it happen for us. Get us there as quickly as humanly possible so we can unlock these 2 things for you. And remember, Sat Chats is for educational purposes only and should not be construed as financial advice. Also, our guests' views are their own. Thanks so much, Satillionaires. We'll see you on the next one.